And here we are, guys. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the show, Iron Mind, the podcast that's going to blow your mind. I am Adrian. I am the host of this program. And today we are at episode number 10. It's always a pleasure to be behind this mic. But before we start the podcast today, I would like to say a massive thank you for everyone who sent me a question and played the game. That's going to help the podcast to grow, and I really appreciate that. I also wanted to say a massive thank you for my last video where a lot of people went and watched the video. I appreciate that. Don't forget to do it every single week. It's going to be released at New Zealand time, 7 p.m. on Tuesday every week. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friend. More we have viewers, more I can bring interesting people into the podcast to help us understanding a topic or a subject. Today it's a Q&A, and today I let my cat free of walking around, and I hope she's not going to be annoying, and I believe she won't because she's an incredible kitten. Today we have 12 questions, and I classify them in order like towards like life and to sport and goals in the future. So I hope it will make sense. The first question is a long one. Get ready to listen to it. What's your advice to people who feels they don't belong? And at one point, did you feel that you don't belong? What did you do to overcome that? My Hey Nala. My answer to this question. So, what would I say for people who don't feel like they belong is do not force it. Don't force something that is not made for you. Why? Because you would change yourself. You would change your personality, the way you look like. You would try to do everything as possible to be part of a group, for example. And I think that's not what you should do. You shouldn't do that because changing yourself to belong in something, in a community, or stuff like that, is unhealthy. It's very unhealthy because it doesn't mean that you're going to be very happy. It means that most of the people who are trying to belong somewhere and force it, they realize at some point that that's not what they want. So, my advice to you for the question was what's your advice to people who feel like they don't belong? Do not force it. If you don't belong in a group of people, there is no point of trying to force it. The question was also, and at one point, did you feel that you don't belong? Yes, I did have this moment where I was like trying really hard to fit in a group of friends, and I when I was younger, I would try to stay with a cool group of friends that were going out and they were partying and they would have like drugs, alcohol, and most of the girls were attracted to those guys, and I was this kind of weirdo who were training quite a lot, and I was like, you know what, let's give it a try. What if I start going out every weekend and get drunk and whatever? But at the time I thought that was a great idea. I thought it was so cool, but now that I'm a bit older, it was a waste of my time. And it was also like something that doesn't help my mental health. Like, I wasn't that happy by doing that. I was just doing it to be one of the cool kid. And I think it's sad to change your identity to fit with other people. So yeah, it happened to me. How I overcome it? By trying not to force connection. Like, I think if you stay your own self, if you stay what you are, people will come to you, if that makes sense. If you try to go towards some people that doesn't match your energy, it never go really well. It never end up well. In my own perspective, doesn't mean is the right answer, but I think is what I would do. I would not force thing. I would not trying to force the fact that I want to be in a group of friends. If I don't match the energy, if I don't connect with those people, even if they are super cool, doesn't matter. I rather not having those super cool people and have my people then I can count on every single day. So that was the first question. The first question, if I repeat, what's your advice to people who feel they don't belong? And at one point, did you feel that you don't belong? What did you do to overcome it? That was my answer. So what did I do? I just don't force it. I don't pretend. If I don't feel it, I move on. I keep those people maybe as distant friends, but the right person will come if you don't change. Question number 2: do you think creating your own spot is better than waiting for someone to give you your spot? Yeah, as I say in the previous question, if you stay your own self, if you don't change your personality, if you don't change the way you act around people, if you don't change your look or anything, you would attract the people that match with your energy. And that's what the thing is. Like, it's not creating your own spots, it's just staying yourself, and those group of people would come. If I take my example with my best friend, Alex Kevena, this guy we met in a CrossFit gym. We have the same interest. We were doing exactly the same thing. If you put, for example, Alex and I in a car for a road trip, 6 hours nonstop, I guarantee you in 6 hours we would probably laugh 5 hours, because we are like so connected, like brothers. And like, who would have expected that in the past? I think Alex and I, we were like, two different paths. Alex was working at Airbus, which is the airplane company. He was doing some stuff on the plane, and I was literally a prosthetic guy. I was doing some fake teeth. Who would have thought that we were gonna match towards something that connects us, which is CrossFit, which is sport? And yeah, so I think, like, yeah, you don't really create your own spot with friends and whatever. You just stay yourself, and your group of people would come. The people who would belong with you would come. So that was question number 2. If I repeat, do you think creating your own spot is better than waiting for someone to give you your spot? I think it is. I think it's better than trying to be in this cool group of people that would not bring you anything in your life, to be very honest with you. So yeah. Question number 3 is, what does success look like for you in your career, relationship, fitness, etc? Question mark. Success for me is, as stupid as it is if I am happy in anything I'm doing, I will be successful, because I would give my 2000%. So success for me is look like happiness. Let's say if I take my example now, I struggle a little bit about coaching. I've been doing that for probably 15 years now, and I want a bit of change in my life. I still like it. I still like coaching because it's one of my, one of the thing I love to do. And don't tell me wrong, when I coach something that I am really interested on, like weightlifting, when I do the programming for weightlifting, when I do stuff for the work, I enjoy it. But for example, coaching a normal class, just reading a blackboard, I didn't do the programming. It's kind of like, it's kind of like you feel like you are useless. But when you create stuff, and like the weightlifting class for me, I'm creating the programming and I'm helping people and see the progress of others. That's what I like about coaching. But yeah, I struggle with coaching, and I'm not that happy by doing it, and people can feel it. But for example, if you put me in an acting set and all the protocol before being on set, let's say the audition, the rehearsal, the all of it, I enjoy it so much, and I believe I can be an amazing actor one day. So I would work as hard as I can towards that. And it's the same in relationship, right? If you are unhappy in your relationship, you start fading apart from your partner. But as soon as you are happy, and I think for a relationship is you have to work on it, right? It's like not staying in your routine and hope everything's going to go well. I think in a relationship, if you are happy and you make everything to be happy, and of course you have some up and down in a relationship, like everything in your job. Sometimes you fucking love it, sometimes you hate it. And it's the same with the fitness journey. Sometimes you feel super fit, and sometimes you feel unfit, or you injured yourself, but I think all is related to happiness. If you are happy with your own self, you can give to the rest, to your career, you can give to your partner, you can give to your body to reach this incredible fitness journey. So for me, what does success look like is being happy. If I'm happy, I can give my 2000%. If I am not happy, it's very hard. But it's like motivation, right? If you are very motivated, you can do so good, but motivation is not really the key. It would be the discipline, if that makes sense. So happiness is my discipline part. If I am happy most of the time, I would be very successful in everything in my life. I think so. So the question number 3 was, what does success look like for you in your career, relationship, or fitness? And my answer is happiness. If I am happy, I can be successful in everything I'm doing. Question number 4 is a trigger one. It's a hard one because I never really talk about my weaknesses, but here we are. I guess we have to do it today. What do you think your biggest weakness, and what are you doing to overcome it? My biggest weakness is I believe then I am giving my trust too early, too fast. So that's a big weakness. But I also think I am passionated, and I have a big heart. Means that when you trust early, when you give your heart and you are passionate, you can be smashed by other people. People take advantage of it. If I take a silly example, um, you are passionate, you involve into your coaching and whatever, and then you become friend with people because you trust people and you want those people around you. But quite often people cross the boundary. They would cross the boundary, for example, in my class. Let's say I'm friend with you. I have the high hope that you're going to respect my work time, and I know you come to have a good time in the gym. I know you come to the gym, for example, to talk with your friend and have a good banter and train and whatever. But I also believe that if we are friends, if I help you and if I give you a lot, you should do the same with me. It should be like um given, taken. Do you say that? Like if I give, you can give it back as well. On the fact that if I explain a warm up and whatever, just shut up. There is no point of talking over me and whatever. Can you wait and just listen to me? That's a mark of respect, and that affects me a lot. Quite often now, not anymore because I work on me, on myself. Sorry, I work on myself, and I think I'm better with that. But that's the thing. It's like because I'm so passionate, I give my heart and I trust quite early. People see that and they're like, okay, let's not abuse it, but a little bit. I have a lot of people, they know I would never let them down, and they would call me at 1 a.m. or whatever, can you help me fix that? And I will do it. But sometimes it's like, it's sad because you give, but you never get anything in return. Not every single day, not with everyone, but is one thing I feel is my biggest weakness is I trust quite early. I have a big heart and I am passionate. And in work, love, fitness, sometimes you get disappointed by being like that, quite often actually. So working on myself to control that was a big thing in 2026, a big thing. That was question 4. Question 4, if I repeat, what do you think your biggest weakness and what you are doing to overcome it? Question number 5, if you could go back on time to one day in your life and relive one single moment, what would it be? And that's one that can emotionally touch me and got me because it's so simple. What I would like to be back to when we were traveling with my parents and my sister, and we were like a group of 4. It was my parents and my sister toward the rest of the world, and I miss that because when you're an adult, you do your own path, right? And then you get a little bit further away from your family, and I miss that. I wish I could. Fuck, I want to cry now. But I really wish I could. Sorry, guys. I really wish I could get back to those happy moments with my family, where you don't have to deal with drama in your family or whatnot. You just enjoy every second with the people you love. So, that was a big one. So yeah. Sorry guys. I'm gonna drink a bit of coffee because that was a big one. I just, yeah, that's what I want. I want to get back. I would love to get back with my family and just us. No one else, just us. That's one thing I would love to. That was a, when you have like this ball in your throat, like that compressing in your stomach as well. That's what I felt when I was talking about it. So I'm sorry. I almost cried. I didn't. And crying is not a weakness, but yeah, that's what I want. I want to go back to those moments where like when you're a kid or whatnot, you don't realize how important are those moments. But being surrounded of the people you love, nothing better, nothing better. So, mom, dad, and to my sister, I love you so much, and I wish we can have more time together. That was question 5. The question was, if you could go back on time to one day in your life and relive one single moment, what would it be? I don't have a single moment. I just want to spend time with them. Question number 6 is switching a little bit more into sport now. Does Greg Glassman 10 functional modalities still make you a good athlete in CrossFit in 2026? I do believe so. So basically, Greg Glassman is the guys who create the methodology of CrossFit, and he explained is a wheel where you have like if you have strength, you have agility, you have fitness, and whatever. So I think yeah, it makes you a good CrossFitter. Now, if you want to be a game athlete, I think you need way more than just those modality. I think I think CrossFit is way different than what it used to be. I think now you need to be first of all a professional athlete, and before Greg Glassman was promoting health, which is still the case with CrossFit. But I believe when you do high level CrossFit game as an example, you need more than all those 10 functionality modality. I think so many of the athletes in CrossFit need to work in the mindset, and that's one thing that's a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people, and I would like to have a study around that to see on basic CrossFitters, like average CrossFitters, means no one who qualify to the game, where the mental health of those people is. Because if you think about those top level athletes, quite often they have like a strong mindset, and they might have some coaches who help them to be more in control of their emotion, but not the normal population have that. So you have so many people who work 9 to 5 and then train twice a day, and they don't understand why they don't succeed and don't get stronger or fitter or whatnot in CrossFit. Well, and then they beat themselves up. They kind of like think, oh, I'm a piece of shit. I'm not good at CrossFit. I still don't know why I'm doing that. Well, I I I don't. I think those people should be happy that they can move, they can do stuff, and they can be the best version of themselves by practicing the sport. Now, to reach the extent of being a CrossFitter, you need to just do CrossFit. You cannot have a full time job. It used to be the case before, but not anymore, I think. And that would be connected to the question number 7. So, question number 6 is: does Greg Glassman 10 functional modalities still make you a good CrossFitter in 2026? Yes, you do. 100%. Now, the second question, like the seventh question, is: how has training for CrossFit in 2026 changed from 2015? Well, as I say to you, CrossFit became professional. And I think when you have a professional sport, every little detail make a massive difference. Going to sleep early, having a good recovery process, ice bath, sauna, mobility, eat well. Training is, if you think about it, training is probably 50% of your success. What's going to make you way more successful is all you do around, like mental health preparation, eat enough food, sleep enough, recovery, like doing some ice bath and sauna. So, guys, if you're interested, I own a business called La Pose, and I believe that hot exposure and cold exposure, as La Pose do, is the best combo for you to heal and be better in your CrossFit journey. So that's a bit of promotion here, but yeah, I think the change is in 2015. People were having a full time job, and then they were training really hard to get to the game, but the level of the game in 2015 and the level of the game in 2026 is two different worlds now. Is way harder those days than what it used to be. I don't know what my cat's gonna do. I hope she's not gonna jump on the light. Now that there is a light here, if you jump on it, you're gonna fuck it up a little bit. You know that, my girl? It's okay. There it is. She don't know if you can see her, but there she is. So yeah, that's the difference in between 2026 and 2015. Sorry, 2015 and 2026 is like the difference is just the sport became professional, and then there is way more people who are like doing that every single day, which you can be a good CrossFitter only if you do CrossFit. I think. I mean, to CrossFit game level. If you just want to do CrossFit and have a full time job and don't put too much pressure on yourself, you can still improve so much every year. But you need to understand a little bit more CrossFit, and I think is what we don't see quite often. You see those YouTube video, those Instagram reel where you see those games athletes lifting weight or whatnot. But remember, they do some cycle. They would have like a cycle of where they do some recovery post game, and then they're gonna do some accessories, and then they're gonna focus just on lifting, and then they're gonna start building the conditioning to prepare the open and the CrossFit game. But the general population don't do that. They kind of like come like 5 times a week. They do a strength part, a conditioning part every single day. And yeah, that's why you don't involve, because your nervous system, your body's getting tired, which if you do those kind of like cycle, it's way more optimal. We cannot do it as a gym, because if we do those cycle, we would not have a lot of people signing up at the gym. But in theory, you should be better with planning your year around what you want to do in CrossFit. So yeah, how has training CrossFit has changed in 2026 or 2015? I think it's just the professionalism of the sport that make it way harder to qualify to those big events. That was question 7. Question 8 is it's a big one as well. Is a good one actually, and I hope it's going to help people. Question 8 is, hardest mental challenge you face in your CrossFit journey? How did you overcome it? Well, for me, it's injury. Injuries is something that no one prepare you for. Nobody prepare you for. Even your trainer never tell you like, what if you get injured? What would be the protocol? What we're gonna do towards this injury? I think it's very important to talk to the athlete about injury, not to scare them, but to tell them that it's okay if you're injured, you have time, we're gonna fix it, but you need to be smart. And I think, for example, I played 13 years of rugby to a good level, I think, and I have one major injury where I snap both of my adductors, so the right side and the left side, on the same time. It took me 6 months to recover from it, but I was young, so at the time you don't really you're not really scared of like, am I gonna be on time and am I gonna be ready for that? No, you don't care, because you can play the next season. You know what I mean? But in my CrossFit journey, I've been doing CrossFit for 10 years now. Started in 2016. Everything was going well until 2018, where like at the end of 2017, where I broke my foot in a competition floor. And every doctors that I've seen in France, they were like, no, it's not broken, it's just an inflammation of your tendon, nothing major, no worries, na, which is cool. But I've been dealing from 2017, the end of 2017, to the start of 2019 with this broken bone. So it was the sesamoid. Basically, the sesamoid is a bone under the big toes that help a lot with balance in your body. And my bone was broke in a straight line, but not on the normal way. Normally it's horizontal. My one was broke vertical, means that one part of my bone wasn't healing and die, and the other part was trying to heal but couldn't make it work. So I had to do a surgery, which is stupid, because if you would have told me, Adrian, you need to chill out for 6-7 weeks, I would have done it, but no one told me that. And I find out then I have this fracture when I went to a foot specialist in New Zealand, and he was like, it's just an inflammation of your tendon, nothing to worry about. And I was getting like a bit crazy. I was like, man, you're just so soft. Stop being soft. It's just a little injury on your foot. But every time I was in so much pain every single day. I remember some physio were needling my foot, physio were massaging where the fracture was, which is stupid, because at the end of the day, if they've done an MRI, we would have find out, we would have know what was happening. So I asked for an MRI and they find out. And I remember the specialist calling me, and he left me a message. He was like, you need to call me as soon as possible. So I call him back, and he was like, well, we find out that you have a fracture in a different way than normal on your sesamoid. Normally it's horizontal, your one is vertical. And one side of your bone is dead, is black. One side of your bone is white. So what we can do is we can take the bone off, clean it up, and you'll be fine. But it's where you realize that they don't give a damn shit about you. Knowing that I was still young enough to compete in CrossFit, I've done some study, and I find out that if you take the sesamoid bone out, it's good for a 70 years old person who don't do anything. But if you do sports, like for example me, who's going to do some box jump, or was going to do some burpees, lateral burpees, or some snatches, or some stuff like that, it creates a big impact of stability. So you lose a bit of stability, you lose a bit of a connection. So I still need that when I do my sport. And that's what they were going to do. They were going to take my bones out and say, hey, enjoy the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And I insist of like, I want to do a bone graft. So by doing a bone graft, there is I think was an 80% chance that it works, 20% chance that it doesn't work. But basically they take a bone from your ankle, attach it to your sesamoid bone, and hope for the best, hope for some healing. It was such a long journey. It was a long journey because you use your foot so many times and you don't realize until you got those surgeries. So that was one of my injury, and it was so long. It took me 2 years to fix it. Then come back from this surgery, and potentially 6 months later, done a competition, torn my ACL. And when I snapped my ACL, obviously I extend my MCL. I perform my femur with my tibial. I have bruised bone. It was a nightmare, and luckily New Zealand have ACC, so I had the chance to get a ACL surgery, but it was during COVID. Means that all the physio, all the gym were not allowed to go. We were not allowed to go. Means that my rehab was pretty average to start, and it means that my recovery, sorry, took me way longer than expected, and mentally it's hard. It's really hard because you see all your friends who involved in the sport, and you stay where you are because you are injured, and it's annoying, but you have nothing else you can do. So I wish someone would have told me it's okay, you have time, we would get there, but do not rush, because I was rushing all the time my recovery, and it's what's happened. After my ACL. Couple months later, we have the Open or quarterfinal, I don't remember, and I pull my back in a bad shape. I pull my disc, so I think was L5S1. My disc on one side was going on the right side, on the other one was going on the left side, and until I find out what I've got, like every physio, we're like, oh, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do that, but the improvement wasn't coming, and it took me over a year to not feel my back anymore. And it's so annoying because you feel like no one listened to you. Everyone's like, oh, I know what you have, no worries, we're gonna fix it. But after 1 year, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Is it me the problem, or is it the people around me? So how did I overcome those challenge, and those hardest mental challenge for me was more like not stressing out from the future, and just take a day after another one, and try to be positive even if you have day where you feel shit. Because in a rehab process, you're gonna do 5 step forward, 10 step back. Is always like that. So you're gonna feel good for 2 weeks, and then for 4 weeks it feels like shit. So how I overcome it is like, I understand that it's not gonna be an easy journey, but it's gonna be an interesting journey as well. So by not rushing, by not stressing out, I think that's the way for me. My mental health in sports after injury improved. Is just because I wasn't as hard on myself, and understanding that if we do the right thing, everything's gonna go back to normal. So yeah, I overcome by not stressing out, and by being smart, by listening to my body. I think your body gives you some signal that you should listen to. And quite often people don't, especially in CrossFit. People feel, oh, my shoulder's a bit sore, but I'm still gonna do 30 ring muscle up. Well, no, you can do something else. Just listen, be smart, just listen to your body, and you'll see you'll have an amazing CrossFit journey. That's my advice to you. So the question 8 was, hardest mental challenge you face in your CrossFit journey. How did you overcome it? I just overcome it by learning and having more experiences to understand my body and be a better version of myself. Question number 9. Do you think people overestimate motivation and underestimate discipline, and why? Why? Because it's simple. Motivation is simple to have. You can be motivated for 1 or 2 weeks, but as soon as you have any little, any little wall in your life, any obstacle in your life, people give up quite easily, because it's not pleasant to have obstacles. So people, I think they take the motivation way too. They think is way more important than it is. Motivation is important, don't tell me wrong, but what I think is way more important is discipline, because you can always go to, let's say if I take the gym as an example, you can always go to the gym even if you're not motivated, because doing a little bit of work would make you improve way more than if you stay home because you're not motivated, and because you're like, my life is shit or whatever. Well, everyone's going to those phases where your life is shit, where you challenge so many things at work, with your relationship, with your training, it doesn't go well. But if you show up and you do the best you can every single day, you would be a better version than if you just relate on your motivation. I think motivation is not a good reason for you to be good in a sport, or in your job, or in your relationship. I think being disciplined, that would be the best thing. So I think it's just, why is because people it's easy to be motivated for something. Now it's really hard to stay disciplined for it because you have obstacle, and those obstacle can or put you down and you give up, or you use them to be even stronger and better than what you used to be. So I think that's why is motivation is an easy thing to have. Quite motivated for 1 week. Now you're gonna have some day where the weather is shit, where your work is shit. Well, it doesn't matter. You still need to be disciplined and go. And I think discipline is way more important than motivation. And yeah, why is just because motivation it's super easy, but discipline is really hard on the day you don't want to. So I think that's why. I think that's why. So the question was, do you think people overestimate motivation and underestimate discipline, and why? Now, question number 10, why does some athlete perform amazingly at training but crumble in competition? And I think there is few type of people. There is people at training, first of all, before a competition. If I take CrossFit as an example, they can repeat and repeat and repeat the workout. So behind Instagram or whatnot, people are like comparing themselves on Instagram and they're like, fuck, it's so fit, but you're always going to put your best performance. You're never going to put your weak performance. You're never going to put your failure. It's rare that you see people say, oh, I fucked up totally my 26.1, for example. No, people is going to put just the 26.1. They repeat maybe 3 times with a good score and that's it. You have that. So people repeat and to get better and better. Or you have the people that don't deal really well with pressure and stress. And I'm one of them. I know that for me, for example, quite often I'm doing good on the qualifiers, first of all, because I'm repeating the workout and because I have no pressure. But as soon as I'm on the comp floor and you have like more eyes on you and more athletes around you, incredible athletes around you, more you put pressure on yourself. Am I good enough to be on this field? And I know if I can zone out and forget about that, I would be the best version of myself. And it used to be the case with rugby. I used to be the number one in my position, but when the semi-final and the final were arriving, I was putting so much pressure on myself, then I was playing like shit. And it's not because I wasn't a good athlete, it's just because this pressure is killing you step by step. It's killing you and killing your performance. If I take CrossFit as an example, let's say 3 days competition, most of the time, my first day, I'm almost like dead last. Let's say I'm 25th out of 30. But because now I'm 25th, I have zero pressure. I'm like, you know what? Fuck off. Let's do whatever. I don't care. And then I always do so good and I come back in the top 10. It's just because, yeah, some people struggle with pressure and stress, and that put them down a lot. Now you also have those people who are like cheating a lot at training. If I take CrossFit as an example, they shave rep, they shave round. But the good thing about competition is they cannot do that because they have a judge, and normally you can find out who's cheating in CrossFit, because when those big events come, they well, during the year they are like super successful on the leaderboard of your gym. You're like, wow, I want to be like this person. And then when there is like the open or a competition with judges, they are like getting smashed, because obviously when you are cheating yourself at training, you're never going to perform really well at competition. So I think that's all those um, all those things are matching for why some athletes perform really well at the gym and not really good at competition. Is competition, there is no at training, there is no stress. There is a bit of competition with the people around you, but you don't care as much. But on the competition floor, you care because all eyes are on you, and then you get stressed. And then, yeah, that's why I think that's why some people are struggling in competition more than at the gym, where it's a neutral area. You feel comfortable, is your place, and there is no reason for you to stress out. So that's why. That was question 10. Question 10 was, why does some athlete perform amazingly at training but crumble in competition? That's my answer here. Now this one is a good one. Question 11 is, what's your take on hybrid athletes? Well, I have nothing to say about them. I just feel it's stupid to claim yourself a hybrid athlete if you cannot do every single thing. For me, I think CrossFitters, we are hybrid athlete because we are prepared to the unprepared. We are prepared to swim, to bike, to run, to fall, to like we are prepared for everything. Which if I take the hybrid rocks are the high rocks people, and not, don't tell me wrong, not everyone is like that, right? But there is like the world champ, and I think it was last year, and that's one thing I find that really cool and humble from him, is like, I'm really good at running, I'm really good at those not as technical movement than CrossFit, but if you give me a barbell, a snatch barbell, I struggle. And he showed that as a video, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Then at least, he's honest with that. He's like, I'm amazing on my discipline, but I'm struggling with others. And a hybrid athlete for me is someone that would be pretty much like 50-50 on everything he's touching, because he's not specialized on something. Like if you take a weightlifters, they're gonna be fucking amazing in weightlifting, but if you give them few burpees, they would be struggling. So they are not hybrid athletes. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I think like people who claim to be a hybrid athlete, cool on them, because I think if you do sport, it's really good, and I'm glad that you are moving and you do that for your health. Now you are not better than anyone else. I think a good athlete is someone that's open his mindset around sport and try to practice everything. It can be collective sport, individual sport. It can be endurance sports, short sport, sprint sport. Like if you are capable of doing all those stuff, you are a hybrid athlete. If you don't, you're not really an hybrid athlete. You just specialize on one discipline, if that makes sense. If I take the programming of Hyrox in my gym, and what I like about it is like we don't just do like running or wall balls or whatnot. They do a lot of strengthening with some squat cycle and stuff like that. And I think people sometimes underestimate those stuff. But yeah, hybrid athlete is an incredible athlete because he can adapt to any type of situation. That's what I'm thinking about hybrid athletes. Good question. Last question is the last one. Question number 12 is: have you decided on a charity sponsorship event? What and when? I didn't really. I tried to think about something that would be a long challenge, probably a 48 hours challenge, because I would like to feel what those people who struggle with mental health problem, people who have like problem with depression and stuff, like I want to feel the pain they've got. And I've been through in 2025, at the end of 2025, of a big depression. I know what they feel, and I think if I do a challenge, I need to feel that. I need to feel the heaviness of what I'm doing. So I need to find something that's not gonna hurt me, but kind of for a long period of time. When I don't know what, I don't know. I thought about doing 10K of burpees broad jump. That can be an option. Or I thought about doing all the, how do you call that? The hero workout, CrossFit hero workout, which is 300 workouts, something like that, in a week, for example. So that can be a challenge as well. So let me know what you think. If you guys have any idea, let's do it. My last challenge was 1,000 burpees bar muscle up for a charity that help people who suffer with depression and suicide thought. We raised $6,000, which it was amazing, and the challenge took me 5 hours and 30 or 40, I don't remember, but it was really rough because it was for my uncle. And the whole time I was doing this challenge, I was thinking about my uncle, and I have like some moment of happiness, some moment of doubt, some moment of cry. It was a fucking rough one, but I enjoy every second of it because the community was here, everyone was sharing, everyone was supporting, and it was a beautiful moment. So I will do one. I don't know what, because now we have the quarterfinal and we have Torian Pro. Yes, guys, we qualified to Torian Pro with my team. Quarterfinals have been released. Hopefully, I'm gonna do good there. But yeah, that's what's gonna be the episode number 11. It's like telling you my feeling and impression of what I've done in the quarterfinal. Am I happy? Am I not? You will know in the next episode. So, guys, the next episode would be towards the quarterfinal, the Torian Pro, the preparation we've got for that. And yeah, don't forget, guys, to subscribe, like, and share with your friend if you like this episode. If you learn something, if I help you to understand how to overcome stuff, I'm glad I did. If you have more questions, don't be shy. Don't be afraid to send them to me online on Instagram, or commenting behind under the video, YouTube video, or under the Spotify. Just let's make this podcast live and connected to each other. Remember, I'm always closing the podcast with this beautiful sentence that I think is accurate for any type of situation: is build your mind, grow your life. So if you build your mind, your life would automatically grow to the good way. So build your mind, grow your life is how I'm closing the podcast every time. It was a pleasure to talk to you guys, and I see you on the next episode.